it's just like, why is that? And they're like genius scheming, like it's gonna be perfect. I've got this all laid out, guys. All we need is a trigger man. It's like, well, who's gonna pull the trigger? Well, I've got a hand in this.
What if Well, hello there, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Confused Breakfast Podcast. Do you remember the pure joy of a trip to the video rental store as a kid?
Yes.
The excitement of walking down the aisles, browsing the names in the artwork, and finally picking out the movie you were going to take home with you. Sure, it's hard to beat the ease of the modern era and streaming platforms where you don't even have to leave your house, but there was something truly special about making that trip, picking a movie out by hand, and watching it when you got home from being called to the hospital to perform emergency surgery.
Got to.
Yeah. On this podcast, we revisit and dissect some of our favorite childhood movies from that magical era to see if they still move us the way they did as kids. I'm your host, Mike Schulte. Joining me, as always, two dudes who did not kill their wives. Shaun Pryor and AJ Vance, how the heck are ya?
She's still alive. She's
I didn't kill my wife.
She's at home right now with her son. Swear to God.
Haven't married her yet, so it's out of my hands for now.
It's not up to me.
Well, my friends, on today's episode, we will discuss a movie that was nominated for 5 Oscars and was the 3rd highest grossing worldwide film of 1993. Our first Harrison Ford, our first Tommy Lee Jones.
Wow.
We're, of course, talking about 1993's The Fugitive.
Well, dang it. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for another nostalgic journey to the past with The Confused Breakfast. Sit back, relax, and enjoy wherever you are in the world. Take it away, boys.
And if you are new to this podcast, we're going to be reviewing The Fugitive scene by scene with only a modern eye. But in order to get there, we must first talk about it nostalgically so that we can throw it in the trash and never talk about it again. AJ, tell us the first time you saw this movie, what your thoughts were, and what your nostalgic rating was.
Here's the thing, is I can't decipher if this is actually a thing. But when I heard we were going to do this movie, the first place my brain went to was TBS Dinner and a Movie.
Okay.
And I don't know if it actually was on there. I can't tell you guys that. I tried to research it. U.S. Marshals was on there. Mm-hmm. Some other movies were on there. But for some reason, I was like, I feel like I remember watching this movie on TBS Dinner and a Movie. Do you guys remember this?
This was on TV all the time.
I feel like this could probably be a mini bite someday for us because, like, TBS Dinner and a Movie, I was, honestly, as a kid, it pissed me off because I was like, I don't care about your stupid recipe. You can make it in like 5 minutes. I just want to see what happens.
Order pizza like a real person.
Thank you. Oh, good. Just drink Busch Light and order pizza. And so I thought, it's where my brain immediately went. Regardless, it was definitely on TV, and it was definitely like, my mom was all excited about it.
But now as a 32, 33-year-old, you're like, that sounds great, actually.
Yeah.
I wish they
Oh,
did that.
I don't have to go anywhere?
Hey,
I don't
I
have to
wanna-
go to a bar and like hang out with my friends? I can stay at home?
That's great. I'm going to drink some sparkling reddish wine and have myself a night in.
Apparently champagne can be dark red color.
Mm-hmm.
Who would have known?
I had no idea. So TBS, I didn't really care about it. I knew there was a one-armed man involved. That's about as far as I got, guys. And I knew my mom wanted me to watch the movie, probably just to keep me entertained for at least like 45 minutes to some degree. I'm going to have to give this a 5.3.
5.3. Sean, what about you?
Kind of the same. This was an adult movie to me.
Yeah.
And not in the sense of it's an adult
Right,
movie.
right,
It was just like my parents watched it. And I sometimes took a glimpse at it when they were watching it. And I knew it had a one-armed man in it, and that freaked me out as a kid. And I knew that Harrison Ford, that Han Solo was accused of murder. And that's kind of all I knew about it. Didn't really think much about it, but I definitely watched it back in the day. I'm going to give this a 4
4.9. This movie was definitely made for adults. Like, this was like made for my parents who were like, oh, Harrison Ford, this is a great thriller and a great. I remember they rented this movie and then liked it so much that they bought it on VHS. And so we watched this movie a lot. Guys, a lot of trains in this movie.
A lot of trains.
You know, I fucking loved this movie.
You were so sad.
I was.
Points.
There's a good train. It derails.
Perfectly good train.
No, I honestly watched this movie a lot as a kid. I loved it upon first watch. I'm an 8.9 nostalgically. Executive producer David Gould, he chose this as his right as an executive producer. He said, do this movie. And he said, being raised in a one television household, it was hard for me to watch the things I wanted to watch. Typically, it was my father or mother in control of the remote, and we had to watch the news, Rockford Files, Ma and Pa Kettle, or whatever black and white nostalgic classic that would bring my parents back to the pure joy and nostalgia of their younger days. Whether it was Nick at Night or TV Land, I don't know what, but my mother introduced me to the original The Fugitive television classic. Oh. As my parents were channel surfing one evening, they stopped on the Harrison Ford masterpiece, The Fugitive. My father was enthralled, and my mother had comments about how this wasn't her Fugitive. And well, for me, not my Fugitive. And for me, I just didn't get it. I probably just hooked the dim LED light to my Game Boy Color and got lost in Super Mario's world instead of Mr. Ford's.
As you do.
Fast forward to my college years in a men's dorm where action classics and dumb comedies made up the majority of our dialogue amongst peers, where Chuck Norris Night was a regular occurrence on the floor above me, and where an older, wiser Dave Gould was reintroduced to the movie that I overlooked so many years before, Harrison Ford's beard, Tommy Lee Jones' quips, and the quotes. To this day, you will hear me say to anyone that will listen, "You find that man!" And
you find that man.
He had a mechanical, pause for the effect, arm. Nostalgically, I've had a love-hate relationship with this movie, but mostly love, so my rating nostalgically would have to be a 6.86. So, fellas, that takes us to a 7.24 for a nostalgic rating, which is going to take us...
At every other movie we've ever done.
No, there has never been a 7.2 score.
Really?
Never been a 7. It falls directly below The Warriors, that was a 7.25, and directly above Cool Runnings, Christmas Story, Kindergarten Cop, which were all 7.23s.
Fair enost.
At number 50, essentially, on the list. How do you feel about
Stands
that?
alone at 7.24.
It's very rare. 7 point something is generally what our ratings are. It's just you never know what it's going to be.
All right. Yeah.
So we got to move on. We're stripping away the nostalgia. We're going to go to Shaun, learn all the pertinent, important details of this movie. Shaun, what you got, man?
Welcome. Produced by Arnold Collison, Peter McGregor Scott, and Stephen Brown. Story by David Tway. Screenplay by Jeb Stewart and David Tway. Based off characters created by Roy Huggins. Cinematography by Michael Chapman. Guys, he's back again.
Chaps.
Taxi Driver, Raging Bull, Scrooged, Kindergarten Cop, and The Lost Boys.
We've only done like one of those movies.
We've done 2 of those movies.
Okay, good.
Now 3. Music by James Newton Howard. He's done every movie ever made, besides John Waters. Not John Waters. John
Wick.
John Wick.
Yep.
Directed by Andrew Davis. He also did a horror movie called The Final Terror. Steven Seagal movies such as Above the Law and Under Siege.
Thank God.
Collateral Damage and Holes.
That was a Steven Seagal movie?
Yeah. Cast. Harrison Ford, Tommy Lee Jones, Sheila Ward, Julianne Moore, Andreas Katoulias, Richard Riley, Rob Dean, Tom Wood, L. Scott Caldwell, Daniel Roebuck, Jaron Crabe, and Joey Pants. He's got to be up there.
Okay. So we will consult it, okay?
Based off the 60 television series, a script for a feature version of The Fugitive had been on studios' minds for a while. After several writers and directors were attached to the project, including Walter Hill, the film finally landed its writers and director. Almost every actor in Hollywood was considered for Kimball, including Nick Nolte, Michael Douglas, Alec Baldwin, and Kevin Costner. Harrison Ford was eventually cast as he was interested in characters that were very different from him in real life, and the character sported a beard in the film. He really wanted to play a character that had a beard. Gene Hackman and John Voight were considered for the role of Sam Gerard, but Tommy Lee Jones got the part.
TJ.
Most of the film was shot in Chicago, but some of it was also shot in North Carolina and Tennessee. Director Andrew Davis and Harrison Ford were both from Chicago, and it was actually Ford's idea to shoot in Chicago. A lot of the film was either rewritten the day of shooting or improvised. A lot of Tommy Lee Jones dialogue is actually off the cuff from him, and a lot of ad-libs. The film had a rush to get into theaters because Harrison Ford didn't have a lot of time to promote the film. Only 10 weeks was given the filmmakers to edit, mix, and finish the film for its release. Because the producers set up 7 editing bays on the Warner lot and had 6 editors working on piecing together the film's scenes. All 6 editors were nominated for Academy Awards. That can't be understated enough. To as much as the technical achievements this film is known for, it's really not known for the quick turnaround that this it's like 3 months turnaround.
I was gonna ask if that's fast, and if so, comparatively how
incredibly fast, almost a year. Like in big movies, even big budget movies like this will take maybe a year, half a year to a year
from start to finish.
Well, from when principal photography is done to
editing,
advertising and editing and mixing and score, that's all got to be done. That was all done in 3 months on this film.
Okay.
And it took 6 editors to piece every aspect of this film together. And it's not ever, I think this is the only movie ever still to have 6 nominated for the one
really?
award. Yeah, it's unheard of, and we'll talk about it later, but it's pretty well put together. The Fugitive was released on August 6th, that's my birthday, 1993, and on a budget of $44 million, the film made $368.9 million at the box office. It was nominated for 7 Academy Awards, including Best Picture, and 1 Best Supporting Actor for Tommy Lee Jones, and is regarded as one of the best, if not the best, television to film adaptations of all time.
Did you find this? So they adapted it from a television series called The Fugitive, but also apparently the television series was based on a true story. Did you find that at all? Dr. Sam Shepard apparently was a falsely accused man, for killing his wife, but he actually did go to jail and was there for 10-something years, and then had a retrial or whatever.
New evidence, maybe acquitted him.
Something like that. Yeah, but I didn't dive too much into it because I was running late and shit, but that's apparently part of the story. So that'll be interesting to find more out about that.
Yeah, I read a similar thing. Yeah. We'll dive in.
So this podcast, you love us, that we love you. What we ask is that you just help us further this along. Listening is not enough anymore. I'm sorry, just listening and tuning in will no longer trip our trigger. So we need you to do 2 things. Number 1, we need you to like and follow us on the social medias. That cannot be understated. We're actually kind of doing pretty good right now. We are at 305,000 followers on the TikToks, but we could use more. We're at 16,000 on the Instagrams.
Wow.
But we could use more. So go check. If you're not following us on that stuff, go follow us. And the best way to support this, patreon.com/confusedbreakfast. That is where you directly sponsor this podcast. You get to vote on upcoming movie episodes. You get private Discord stuff. You get access to a weekly bonus audio episode every single week. There's 120 of them waiting for you. You sign up, you pay your fee. You can listen to them all in 1 month and then cancel if you want.
Yeah.
They're waiting for you. Go check it out. That's all we ask of you. Patreon.com/confusedbreakfast. Up next, AJ does the research, shares the ratings and reviews of critics and fans alike. And here comes a weird joke about the tomato meter.
I'm still putting it together. I didn't kill my wife. I don't care. The tomato meter.
Flawless execution.
Okay, listen. What I don't understand is you can't really do a Harrison Ford impression, and you literally just did one. He sounded like Harrison Ford.
Get off my plane.
I didn't kill my wife.
I didn't kill my wife.
I don't care.
That was a great Tommy Lee.
Thank you.
Here I am. Can't do impressions.
Yes, you can,
God
Michael.
Damn it.
96%. Certified fresh. 96%.
96.
That is top 10 of any movie we've ever done. That is tied with Goodfellas.
Damn.
Slightly better than Saving Private Ryan, slightly worse than Back to the Future. That is where the critics feel this movie deserves to be.
Well,
Wow.
we'll discuss.
I feel like it's an offense to be better than Saving Private Ryan.
Right? It's like anti-war. Like, what do you got against war heroes?
I feel like there's...
You don't like veterans, I guess. Harrison Ford.
No, we didn't know. We didn't know what the...
I've played the president, I swear.
I love them all. I don't care.
89% from the audience. 89% there. 7.8 on IMDb.
7.8. That is a fantastic movie on IMDb.
You just shit on the rest of cinema.
Cobra. Plop.
Listen to this. Of any movie we've done that is top 20, that is tied with The Goonies, Sandlot, Breakfast Club, Ghostbusters.
Damn.
Wow.
That is a pretty good company.
That is good company right there.
I'd watch those, I guess.
I'd check those movies out. Seems like a nice movie.
Seems like a masterpiece.
75 out of 100 Baltimore Sun. Stephen Hunter simply, The Fugitive runs hard and true the whole way through. You bet.
All right.
Well done. He's running. They should have called the running man. Oh, wait. Empire. Angie Arago. 80 out of 100. 8 out of 10. Performances transform this otherwise orthodox cat and mouse movie into a gripping experience. These keep going up, guys. Gene Siskel said, I've already seen The Fugitive twice.
Yeah.
I'll probably see it again. He gave it 100 out of 100.
You can't do that, Gene.
Yeah, you're not allowed to do that.
You are saying this is the best movie you've ever seen, Gene.
You basically just said that.
You can't do that.
Yeah, it's not fair.
What about all the other movies?
Well,
Citizen Kane? 99.
Rosebud. Who knows? I don't know. I
Star
know
Wars.
The Fugitive.
Back to the Future, 98.
He didn't kill his wife. Nice.
I really believe they did.
Harrison. 100 out of 100. Rolling Stone was the highest here. Peter Travers said, for dynamite suspense, loaded with thrills and wicked fun, you can't beat The Fugitive. The summer's best action blaster.
Action Blaster.
Wait, what?
That's what our movie is going to be called, by the way.
You mean
Action Blaster.
Jurassic
Let's take a
Park
moment for this Nerf commercial.
Jurassic Park is not an action blaster? Okay, just checking.
No. You don't even know.
Starship Troopers not an action blaster? That's an action blaster if I've ever heard one.
That is the definition of action blaster.
Yeah.
Have you
horsecock?
Have you? Hello. Have you seen? We're still trying to decide if he killed his wife. No, we found that out immediately.
He's
So
Harrison Ford.
It's not suspenseful anymore. Can we Jurassic Park? Okay, it's fine. It's fine.
AJ hated this movie. Wow.
Hey, well,
Damn.
I didn't say that yet.
We'll get there.
We'll get there, baby. 10 out of 10. Let's do it, guys. I've only got 2 because they're kind of longer, and I got to dice them up a little bit. Okay, so
100
this is
out of 100.
Lisa Fordier. 10 out of 10. 100 out of 100. Gave this a million out of a million, calling it a very good thriller.
What do you say? 48.
What do you say, Lisa Fordier? May 24, 2013. Warning, spoilers. I will try not to mention them. Harrison Ford is a brilliant actor. End of story.
End of it.
You got to love his performance in this film, and I'm not going to lie here, but the 80s and 90s were the best films of all compared to now. Parentheses, except for some of these are brilliant, like Shrek and Tangled. Etc.
Fucking love it.
There's an etc. on there, too.
Well, you know, Shrek and Tangled. And then,
Dude, animation's going off the rails in 2013.
and so on.
This is she said she decided to give, I'm assuming Lisa they're giving this a whole synopsis of the movie, but then gets to this end, says, bottom line, this movie was brilliant. You got to love the story. You got to love the acting, and everything about this film is fantastic. I know it's not aimed towards women like me, And I don't want to sound racist when saying it.
So don't.
When saying it. Oh, I know. It gets crazy right here. I don't want to sound racist when saying it, but I, for one, would highly put this film in at number 20 on my list of all-time favorite movies. It is my all-time favorite. Is it my all-time favorite movie? No. But is it a great film? Yes.
So
hold on.
Being racist.
Where is the racism at?
For liking things, Mike.
I need to know. Is she implying that like number 21 is like a movie that we don't want to talk?
That's for a different sort of people.
Oh my god.
I don't mean to sound racist, but I'd put this in my top 20.
That's like, you know what? I don't want to be racist or anything, but man, I love cheeseburgers.
Like, I don't want to be racist, but I think the Texas Chainsaw Massacre is the greatest horror movie of all time.
What's number 21? Bad Boys? Like,
just come out and say it.
Just like,
tell
wrong?
us what the movie is. Number 21, Roots.
The Color Purple.
What the fuck are you saying?
I fucking love it. Such good acting.
I'm sorry I haven't followed your story up to now, Lisa Fortier.
No.
I don't know your
I
backstory.
don't understand what she's saying. Number 21, Godzilla.
Well, that's racist towards lizards. Towards thunder lizards.
I love this segment.
10 out of 10, guys. Let's go 10 out of 10. And this will I'm so sorry. 1 out of 1. 1 out of 10. I don't even know my own ratings, guys. So this is a 1 out of 10. This is not good. So bad is what it says. And this was very recent, May 21, 2023. If you're listening, you got yours on. I wouldn't recognize it. CFR 56761. There you go. It was very recent. I saw this in theaters when it was released in 1993, but have absolutely no recollection of the film. So it obviously didn't leave any kind of impression on me back then.
Obviously.
In 1993. At the time, I knew nothing about the TV series that it was based on. It took me 30 years, but thanks to classic TV channels and DVD, I only recently discovered the 1960 series and was absolutely riveted by it and feel it was one of the best television series ever made. The characters of Richard Kimball and Lieutenant Gerard were perfectly played by David Jansen and Barry Morse in that series. After I finished watching that, I decided to watch the 1993 film version since I remembered nothing from my first viewing 30 years ago. Mm-hmm. And watching it again, I can understand why.
Shit.
It's bad.
Oh.
It's really bad.
Real bad.
And Harrison Ford is no Richard Kimball.
Not my Richard Kimball.
Not my Richard Kimball. And Tommy Lee Jones could not be more annoying than he is here.
Wow.
It's so bad and chock full of inconsistencies and implausibilities. And that scene over the dam will just have you howling with laughter at the implausibility of it. Both Harrison Ford and Tommy Lee Jones are terrible in the iconic roles of Kimball and Gerard. This film is a Roadrunner cartoon farce compared to the TV series and lacks the depth and also the heart and soul that the TV series so perfectly captured. And how this fugitive is just able to enter restricted areas of hospitals unnoticed whenever he feels like it is hysterical. I'm rating this 1 star only because there's no 0-star option here.
You're one of those, huh?
He's one of them. Watch the 10-star 1963 series instead of this colossal mess.
Is that his... that's his own farts. Yeah, he's feeling them.
Farts in a glass.
1963 was the greatest era of all time for television.
They're putting rainbows on the beer cans now.
But you can't have rainbows on the beer cans because television wasn't in color back then.
Wait till we break it to him that there was rainbows on television back then. You just couldn't see it.
Click your heels together and go on back, you asshat. All right. That's all I got, guys.
Cool. Well, listen, I don't want to sound sexist, but I love Cedar Ridge whiskey more than any other whiskey. Cedar Ridge whiskey has been with us from the start, and they are the best whiskey ever made. And they support this podcast, so what you can do is support them. Like, if you like whiskey, if your dad likes whiskey, if your mom likes whiskey.
Sexist.
Sorry. If anyone in your life likes whiskey, this is what you got to do. You got to give them a shot. You got to either grab their flagship kind of just classic bourbon. What do they call it? Technically just straight bourbon whiskey. You can grab their collaboration with Slipknot.
Yeah, dude.
Combining bourbon and rye and just a delicate balance of craziness.
Yeah, delicate but crazy.
Called Number 9. Their American quintessential single malt is winning awards left and right. It is technically a scotch. Can't call it a scotch. It's a single malt.
Hey.
I hate scotch.
Don't be racist.
I fucking love this. Yeah, that's countryist. I love American better than I love Scotland.
How dare you?
No, that's 2 actually. Never mind. Check Cedar Ridge Whiskey out. Get some from your local store. If you can't, you can order it online directly to your house. CedarRidgeWhiskey.com. If you're in Iowa ever, go visit them in Swisher, Iowa. The best pizza I've ever had in my life. The best little outdoor beer kind of garden thing. They got music. Take a tour of their whiskey. Come hang out with us. We'll tell you our address.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And our credit card number, cedarridgewhiskey.com.
Yeah, CedarRidgeWhiskey.com.
All right, listen up, ladies and gentlemen. Our podcast has been going strong for over 2.5 years. Average downloads per episode minus some very low interest mini bites like Legends of the Hidden Temple is 15,000. That gives us a chance of hitting number 1 again on the charts soon. What I want from each and every one of you is a hard target, word-of-mouth, confused breakfast campaign of every gas station, residence, warehouse, farmhouse, henhouse, outhouse, whorehouse, house of carpets, waffle house, and doghouse in your area. The scene-by-scene analysis of The Fugitive starts now. We're called The Confused Breakfast. Here we go.
Yes, sir.
Scene 1. Dr. Richard Kimball returns
brilliant.
home to discover his wife, Helen, fatally wounded by a one-armed assailant. Despite his efforts, the attacker evades capture. He's falsely accused of murder, convicted, and receives a death sentence. During transport to death row, Kimball's fellow prisoners attempt to escape, which causes the bus to crash down a hill and onto train tracks where an oncoming train is approaching. Kimball saves a guard's life and escapes the collision.
I'll be honest with you. I thought Lieutenant Gerard was here in the room. That was wonderful.
That
was really, really well done.
I'm just saying, man.
Yeah.
Like I added House of Carpets in there and Waffle House.
I know.
Whorehouse. He doesn't say whorehouse.
It doesn't. No.
Stag House.
No.
I couldn't think of any more businesses with house in the title.
I wanted to cheer. I wanted to hear here we go, but I didn't get it. And I was like, I just want this to be memorable.
Ronald McDonald's house.
House Depot. Home Depot. I don't know.
Home Depot.
We do got to talk about this opening scene because this is everything that I've been complaining about in all these movies, like Speed. 4 minutes of just, here's the director, here's the cinematographer. This, dude, the credits run over the first 15 minutes of this film.
It pauses and then begins again.
And that's what I want. Like, if I wanted to know who the director was, I could look at it. But otherwise, I don't care, so I want to watch what's happening in the movie. Don't waste my fucking time. And this movie just goes, here's the movie, guys. If you feel like reading the credits, go ahead.
Yeah, I
love it.
I feel like that the beginning scene is very startling, like the fucking bangs and flashes of like violence and the negative film look, is very startling, but also very 90s.
Yeah,
very like
it's got a feel.
It's very almost Hallmark movie to me.
It's like, hey, we just figured out how to do negative on the film.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
do it now. Oh,
Dude, as a stab comes down.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like it stuck with me as a kid, and rewatching it this time, it's a little cheesy to me, but then it kind of ramps up from there. Although as we get to it, as his dream scenes are also in negative film, so I don't know, but
you talk about I really love how they portray Richard Kimball and his wife. And how, what are they in their 40s? Like they're showing him as an older guy and how like still in love they are. And, and like, she's like, oh, you got to go on that emergency surgery. Don't worry. I'll wait up for you. My wife would be sleeping 100%. If I had to leave at midnight, if I had to leave at midnight real quick go record a 2-hour podcast and the before and the after, she's not putting the robe on the thing. She's not doing the rose petals or getting the champagne. She's sleeping by the time she hits the couch.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So this is bullshit.
Yeah, I think this is the most unrealistic part of this entire movie.
Honestly.
You're absolutely right.
We'll do it in the morning.
Yep. No. Maybe
we can in the morning. That's
we
what,
can.
That's what they give.
I didn't promise anything. I just said,
maybe.
Good.
If the dogs aren't like all over us in the morning, maybe.
It's just to keep you at bay a little bit longer.
But not Kimball's
dragging this out.
Not Kimball's
No,
wife.
she's in for it. She wants that Dr. Dick, and I'm here for it, man. The bearded Ford.
Bearded Ford.
Good
You know
God.
what? That's probably why she definitely holds charity events, runs like 5Ks before going home and putting rose petals down. Well, and by the way, even had the audacity to put the white wine into the freaking freezer to
Come on
chill.
now.
Yes.
She chilled your wine.
Yeah. It's all because
That-
you look sexy as fuck.
Fuck
in
with that beard. That's
Do you
right.
do you like his look in the beginning of this movie?
I love it so much, and the producers hated
Right.
it. They so like he wanted to do this movie with full beard like all the time, and it's a good decision later on him trimming it. Obviously, I like that. I like
How
that.
he can change his appearance. It's
yeah,
the easiest way to do
easiest
that.
way to do it. You're right, and but the producers we paid for Harrison Ford's face though.
Yeah.
So we want to see his face throughout the entire movie, and it's just like, yeah, but damn, he looks so goddamn good.
Longer hair, like mid-length hair and beards were not cool
Right.
in the 90s.
It's a tough thing to remember.
Right, because right now you're like, oh, cool, hipster Harrison Ford. What do you like, vinyl collections, Harrison Ford? But that was a decision that would startle people to be like, geez, who's that guy? Like now he just looks like every dude on the street. But
yeah, and it's like the reverse of it wouldn't maybe have been of a shock, I guess.
Yes.
Is that maybe
Yeah,
it? Like,
that's true.
Oh, we'll start him nice and clean cut. He's a doctor, for God's sake, and then we'll let him grow out his beard. He'd be too scruffy and I don't know. I think it was a good conscious decision on it. I really do like this kind of cutting back and forth too. I think
it was one of the first movies I remember seeing some sort of weird displacement of time. I didn't, because I saw it when it came out. I didn't. It was cool to me. I was like, holy shit, they're like jumping in and out.
I just think it's very cool. I think it does keep you guessing in some degree, and like I'm trying to think back if I really ever thought at one point or another that he did. You got to keep in mind, like, I didn't watch the 1960 series. Come on, man.
Not a lot of people had when this movie came out. Really,
fucking 1 out of 10 guy apparently like had to fish it all out with DVDs and like classic TV and whatnot. Like, I had no idea that it was a TV series. Maybe my mom or dad faintly mentioned that, but up until that point, like, I'm still watching this thinking like, I don't know, anything could have happened. I don't know.
Maybe he did
much. Maybe he did. I don't know.
Well, especially because of that courtroom fucking that voicemail is just like,
no.
Woo, that's damning.
And the movie is it's not really overtly saying that he didn't do it either. It's not giving you that comfort. It's just showing you this character who may or may not have done it, probably didn't, and is arguing for not doing it. But it's just like, also casting Harrison Ford is a very telltale sign that he probably didn't do it. But still, the movie is not being like, no, he didn't do it. Like, because the voicemail and everything, and this is just my worst nightmare.
Oh, dude.
Of
exactly.
all fucking
You
time.
fucking kidding me?
And like sentenced to death?
Just like death. Death penalty in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
You're like, what?
They battled with this a little bit, is my understanding. If they wanted to be like a death sentence or life in prison, what's worse? Probably life in prison to me, honestly.
Yeah.
Like life in prison.
Sucks, but
I don't want that. Like, I don't want either, obviously, but but no, like, they've kind of battled with that. I think Harrison Ford really wanted it to be like a life in prison sentence, whereas the producers like, no, we want it to be very finite and everything. And Harrison Ford lost that battle.
For as smart as he's portrayed in this movie, like, not getting a lawyer right off the bat, like, you would have thought some super rich doctor would have immediately been like, for anyone listening, like, if you ever get called in for an interrogation or something, like, whether you did it or not, you lawyer up.
Don't
Shut
say a
the fuck
damn
up.
word to any cop ever.
Yes, like go in there and it's just weird to me. Like, how did he not have like the best attorneys in the world in this case?
He's got a guy who looks like he works at fucking Pepperidge Farm. He's like, what the fuck is going on?
This is my guy. This is my buddy from high school.
Oh no, I think he's really good. Well, you gotta he didn't do it, guys. He didn't. He's got like fucking shit.
Hey, just look at him.
He's like,
he didn't do it.
He's a doctor. It's like, would you get out of here?
Ron Kuby was my student.
Meredith Bird's older brother. Like
Meredith Baxter Bird.
Like, what's going on?
Well, and like even Tommy Lee Jones and his crew like have a better defense than he apparently had. Just the fact of him, he came from a children's fundraiser, then left his wife to go do midnight emergency surgery on someone.
Oh, just the best guy ever?
And he's already the number one vascular surgeon in the world. He's fucking rich.
He doesn't need the freaking.
He loves his wife.
He doesn't need the insurance payoff. Okay.
No.
He doesn't need it. Yeah. Oh, you know what? Here's what a reasonable cop would have said the moment he walked into there. He would have been like, "Oh yeah." He's like, "God, do you think you did it?" Oh no, there's rose petals here.
That's a loving wife.
Like,
when's the last time your wife did that? She's never done
They
that.
were
fucking
wicked
never
excited to bang. This is not the guy. God, I am so sorry.
Hey, guy, I'm really sorry.
I
about
am
that.
so sorry.
No,
We're gonna get you one of those like thermal blankets and wrap you up in one of
You're going
those.
to tell your story to a sympathetic cop.
That's right.
Yeah.
Because this was not you.
No, I fake kill my wife just for fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the time.
Could have killed you. We got to talk about the other cop, Detective Rossetti, played by Joseph Casala.
Is this Glasses McGonagall or is this?
This is Glasses McGonagall. This motherfucker, like, I wanted to be like, this is the most stereotypical fucking Chicago hot dog eating cop I've ever seen. You know why? Because he was a Chicago cop.
Yeah.
He's a retired police officer. He's been in a couple shows and movies. Pretty much everything is his role as a cop.
That makes
He nails this. Almost to the point where I thought he was overacting. No, that's just who he is.
Harrison Ford didn't know the questions they were going to be asking him in the interrogation
No
scene
shit.
either. Like,
Yeah.
it was like a lot of, as we'll get to with this whole movie, a lot of it was come up with on the spot. Like the
So that
script
makes
was
sense that this dude probably knew what questions would be asked.
So, and the filmmakers didn't tell him. He didn't tell Harrison Ford. So Harrison Ford's reaction is just like, he had to make up what his character might say in this moment.
Damn.
You know?
he and I think that comes back to very base layer of why this movie became so great is because of moments like this.
Absolutely.
The direction of doing so, because to be able to tell them, I want you to interrogate this guy as Dr. Richard Kimball,
Here's
and
what
he's
you
going
know.
to have
Go.
to answer you, and you're going to have to respond to him.
And they basically told them, say, hey, you don't believe this guy, so fucking try to pigeonhole him into something, something wrong.
This is what you would do. Like, we need you don't believe him. That's basically your only thing.
Ugh. Again, that's why you lawyer up. These cops are literally trying. They don't give a fuck if you did it or not. They're trying to make you admit that you did do it,
Dude,
whether you did it or not.
It took a long time in the last movie, but I'm going to do it now. Hit it.
Oh, hit it!
If we were on a train to go punch a face,
And we are
I'm
on
on
a
board.
You're damn right. We're about to be. We're about to be, and it's Rossetti.
That's who you're gonna punch.
It's
in the
Rossetti
face?
for me, man. Because at no point there's no point where he actually buys in. There's and him and other guy who we've had in our movies before,
We'll
and
get to him. Yep.
I think they're about equal. I think they're equal partners in taking this punch.
So okay, I agree with you. I'm not gonna punch him yet, but I agree with what you just said. Where at the end of the movie, he knows he fucked up this investigation, and he says, "Shoot him, kill him." He wants him dead so that they can't prove that he fucked up the investigation.
Correct.
Yeah.
Because think about it at the end too. They know all those witnesses on the train were like, "Yeah, dude, Kimball didn't shoot the cop. This guy shot the cop."
Yep.
Like, and then they can radio be like, "Hey, Kimball didn't shoot the cop."
Yep.
But they're like, "Nope,
Yeah.
shoot him and kill him."
It's
Chicago
almost- it's
PD is
almost
going
like,
to eat him alive.
Yeah. It's almost like the shithead in Legend of Billie Jean, where he's like kind
Yeah.
of propelling this narrative that's
Yes.
actually untrue, that he knows is untrue,
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I'm not going to punch him, though. Are you going to punch him?
I'll punch him. I
Okay.
don't have anybody else.
I'll let you guys punch him. I want to punch the Polish drug dealing kid in the face, just for the way his face looks.
Oh,
kid
he
in the
was my
apartment.
backup.
The
He
guy
was
just-
my backup.
The guy whose mom gives him the house?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
just
what I'm telling
it's
you.
just his face.
That's what I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Eats breakfast burrito.
Why are you
First
here?
warm meal he's had in fucking who knows how
It's
long.
like his mom's handler. It's like, dude, I don't think she needs a handler. I
No,
don't-
she's
No.
doing just fine.
Yeah.
She's all right. She seems like a tough lady.
Yeah.
She raised you, for God's sake.
So this train, this train scene. First of all, Richard Riley, great
dude,
great B kind of level actor who's in most things that you've ever seen.
Yes.
You know,
jump to conclusions, Matt.
Exactly.
From
yes.
Yes.
Go freaking jump to a conclusion. Get off this train.
So everything in this movie is pretty well done in the fact of realism. Like everything really makes sense, and we'll get to more of like the logistics of like evading capture later. But even this train wreck, it's they got this from Con Air, first of all. I know they did. That's a joke. Thank you. Thanks.
Wait, I still don't even know what the joke is. Tell me. I'm slow today.
So the prisoners on the bus.
There we go.
They stayed from Con Air. It's like,
wow.
I know.
I thought we were talking about trains.
We just did
Whatever.
that movie, and you know.
I thought we were talking about trains. It's fine.
Yeah.
Now, hey, maybe Richard Kimball should have taken a train and
Keep going.
instead of a bus.
So
We're the best at this.
we're so good. Oh man. Ooh.
Next time, take the bus. Well, I fucking tried that. Sorry.
They wouldn't let me.
Well, I love how this whole thing like kind of plays out. Where it's like this is maybe the most unbelievable, like it's convenient, I guess, not unbelievable, but like convenient aspect of the movie,
Right.
where it's like there is like a planned and botched escape from this bus. You know, what do you guys think?
I like kind of think it still is like plausible. It's weirdly like it's 1 in a million, but like it doesn't feel far fetched to me. The one like even the train derailment looks real because it was real, right? Like there's fucking parts of the wrecked train and bus still in Dillsboro, North Carolina, as like a tourist attraction.
Yeah,
But everything looked great to me. But the one thing that they fucked up on was this bus rolls down the hill and it comes to a stop. It's like against a tree. And then the next shot is it's on train tracks. Like they did not line that up at all.
That's a good
on
point.
how they did that. That's the only thing.
I think the other half was on the train tracks though, right?
I'll look at it again. I'll make a TikTok, but it stops and it's just in a ravine.
Well, don't make a TikTok just about that because this whole scene is incredible the way they did
Yes.
it. And the way that it's broken down is they use real train cars, first
Yes.
of all. They bought these train cars to use for this scene. They used a real bus. The stunning train derailment, they used 11 cameras around this thing.
Because it was one time, right?
They had to get this right. The crash hit one of the cameras as the crew had to dig through the rubble to find the camera. They were shocked to find the footage still intact.
Yes.
But 3 other cameras were destroyed and the footage is gone. So somewhere in the world, there were 3 other angles of this movie, of the scene that we never saw. The whole set piece was done in one take, as CGI was not quite up to par yet, and making any miniatures would be way more expensive than actually using these real trains.
That's mind-blowing.
This whole set piece cost $1 million to just pull this whole thing off in one single take. This is why this is like goes down in history as like one of the best set pieces ever filmed.
Well, let me throw it out there. This scene is what made this movie so like popular, I want to say. And so it was money well spent. Like this is what you think of 2 things when you think of this movie. You think of the train and you think of the dam. Like those are the scenes of this movie that everybody's like, oh, because think about it, it's pre-internet. You're like, oh, we saw The Fugitive. There's this fucking train crash and he jumps off a bridge and like so it was money well spent.
Yeah,
I mean, you still get anxiety watching it for the 9th time. That you're just like, no, because I know I've been in a place where I've had to do that move to get out of the window, and it's really hard. And you're like I was like when you're a kid on the monkey bars or something, and you fall through the monkey bars.
Yes,
you got to do this. You got to do this move to get yourself out so you don't fall and break your spine. You know.
And later you find out you had muscles that you never knew you had.
Exactly. Right. And then you go on to become a podcaster.
Yeah. And you sit for a living.
Sit and talk for a living.
Well,
they nailed that scene. It was fan. The only thing that looked bad was him jumping off the train. That was green screen, I think.
No, that was real. It was a stuntman.
It was real, but they put 2 shots together.
Okay.
It was blue screen for him doing the jump, but there was also a stuntman and the trees.
Cool,
the train was true. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, scene 2, U.S. Deputy Marshal Samuel Gerard and his staff arrive on scene and launch a manhunt. After altering his appearance and stealing an ambulance, Kimball almost gets caught in a tunnel, but evades the marshals by slipping into a storm drain. Eventually cornered by Gerard, Kimball proclaims his innocence, but jumps off a spillway over the dam, escaping. Can we talk about, you know how zombie movies and like Walking Dead kind of makes you have this mental thought of like, man, I think I'd be good at like surviving the zombie apocalypse. I always have the dream of like, could I disappear and like evade cops? I like thinking that I could.
Yeah.
Do you ever? Am I the only one that like likes to dream that?
You're
like,
not the only one at all. But this movie makes me know that I could not.
1,000,000%.
Especially if there was someone like Sam Gerard on my ass,
which there most certainly will be.
Not even in when was this? When was this made again? 93. Not even in 93 do I think I could have done it. Everything I know today, everything in 93, I couldn't do it. Like, and it'd be even harder today.
Man, if I shaved my beard off today, you wouldn't know.
Well, yeah, you look way different.
I'd look way fucking different.
See, and that is the beauty of this, of why it's great that he started with a beard.
Yeah. Because
of that reason. He becomes a different person now that he had this larger beard, and all of their images of him have the beard.
Mm-hmm.
All those insanely ridiculous childlike drawing photos that they had on the whiteboard. Apparently those are going to help.
They could have just given a photo out to people and be like, imagine this guy, but he may have shaved his beard. They're like, no, you need to draw what he would look like.
I got it.
Can you draw him?
I want to draw you.
Oh, okay. Here it is. And that's what you got out of it? Yeah, that should really help us. Let's make 17,000 copies of that. Idiots.
I like this U.S. Marshal cast a lot.
100%.
Obviously, Tommy Lee Jones is great, but I also love Daniel Roebuck. He's like an essential actor in this era. You know,
which one is he?
He's a mustachio man, kind of flat top.
Very
haircut.
true.
I like him a lot in like most movies I see him in. He works with Rob Zombie a lot now.
Surprised he didn't get a supporting Oscar for that frickin' accent he's got going into this. That man is Chicago through and through. Could have fooled me.
Yep.
Chicago.
Yeah, I like him a lot, but then we get Joey Pants.
I know.
Should we talk about Joey Pants?
So the Jarrett Layoff Confused Breakfast Actor Database confirms that the actor in this movie that has been in the most movies we've done is Joey Pants. This is his 4th movie he's been in. He's not quite up on that Rushmore, but he's getting close.
Wow.
Can you name who would be next? There's one other actor that was in 3 movies we've done.
In this movie?
That was in this movie.
Other cop.
Ron Dean. Was one of the dads in Breakfast Club, and he was in Cocktail. He was he was the uncle in Cocktail.
Yep.
So he's been in 3 movies that we've done.
Yeah, that's right. He's Emilio Estevez's dad.
Yep, exactly.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, and the beard's an interesting thing too, because it's 2-sided, right? So he shaves his beard, and like, let's say he doesn't shave his beard, he's getting caught on hour 1 by that cop in the hallway when he's in the hospital.
Yeah, 100%.
He's immediately caught at that point, but he made the decision to shave his beard, which turned out to be smart. The cop didn't recognize him. But then he fucks up, and then one of the cops from the bus sees him. He puts his face down and looks at him, and the cop goes, oh, shit. If he had not showed his face to that cop in the stretcher, he'd be gone. Like, I think he would have been completely gone. Like, he would have made a very valiant attempt at being gone. But because that cop saw him, everybody converged on that town, and we get the big chase and the helicopter and shit like that. So it's crazy how one little move back either way could have changed his whole outlook on this thing.
100%. Like, he didn't have to do that, but he's got that. It's the healthcare provider doctor oath that they take. You know, that no matter what, they will always be helping and trying to save lives. That's the oath that healthcare providers like take, right? And he's got to do it. He's like, this man who has been accused of slaughtering his wife can't even walk away from a stretcher that won't come down right, guys. Oh, it's not really working. Let me help you out there, guys. I'm trying to evade the police and the U.S. Marshals, but I better stop for a moment to help you let down the legs of that stretcher. and then get seen by this guy.
Yeah, the guy didn't say like, yeah, I saw Kimball. You know, he said, he said I saw Kimball, but what I didn't say was he helped me too. You know,
nobody seems to talk about the good things Kimball's doing.
Yeah, and I believe that. I believe that for sure. And I also want to talk about this hospital scene where this shit is riveting to me, and it's totally believable. How he gets into these places,
yes.
You know, he cuts his beard. He's taking the food from the old guy. You know,
it's almost like he felt bad too.
Yeah,
he's kind of like, "Hey, dude, I'm really sorry.
I need this shit more than you do." Yeah. I don't know what you're going through, but
right now you just need sleep.
Honestly, he probably does know what he's going through because he read his chart or some shit.
He doesn't need these.
It's a hobby of his.
Actually, that's probably a detriment to his health. I'm gonna need these beans.
Shouldn't be.
He's not hungry, but he's like, I have to eat this, or else when he wakes up.
No, it's really like it's incredible. Incredible to me how well this is edited together, and the realism of this whole movie works so well. And I love the aspect that they did the train derailment all real, like all real train things, and all in one take. And then all of this stuff is just makes it even more believable to me. Like, it makes you don't even have to like try to buy into it. You just kind of do, right? That's how I feel. What about you guys?
You're 100% right.
I do. I agree with you. I absolutely agree with you. I got very critical for a moment because what is the... I'm going to ask you guys this. Because what is the time frame of this movie? How long does this movie take?
I think it's hard to tell. I think right now we're in the next day at this point of the movie, but how long was he in his little apartment and doing his research? That's hard to tell, I think.
See, and that's what I'm trying to figure out. There is a time lapse in here somewhere of this movie.
Think so?
I know because I know that somebody mentions that this has been going on for a year.
No.
Really?
I'm almost positive, guys.
Well, maybe that explains how he dyed his hair black, but then all of a sudden it was like brown and normal.
They mentioned that.
Maybe.
Yeah. Like, that's what I'm trying to figure out. Is like if there was a time lapse between when he's actually leaving, when the trial happened, and when he's being transported.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
If that was a thing, like there's a gap where he was in prison, but maybe he's being transported for his death sentence, or if he gets to his apartment and in
he's there
Chicago,
for like a year.
and he's going through Chicago for about a year's time.
Oh man, I don't know. They don't really address that at all.
I know, and that's the thing. I looked back and I kept waiting and looking for like a time lapse 1 year later, 6 months later, that kind of thing, and it never happens.
It feels like it's not that long. It feels like it's maybe a month and a half, 2 months. Maybe.
Right.
Sometimes I feel like it's even less.
Yeah,
I feel like it's a week.
And they talk about it like, well, Richard Kimball, what do you think made him come back? You know, what made him come back to Chicago, that kind of stuff. Like, that kind of talk makes me think that, like, there's some big time lapse here. And why would you go searching for an apartment if it's only been a couple of weeks, you know?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I know that's real critical and everything, but I kept thinking about it. I didn't know if you guys noticed anything like that.
I didn't.
Do you think? To me, I mean, as much as I love trains, yes. But,
of course.
But
of course.
I think the tunnel system to the dam is the most iconic scene of this movie. The I didn't kill my wife. I don't care.
I don't care.
That's the line in the movie, I think. And wasn't it supposed to be something different? Did you read that?
It was supposed to be "That isn't my problem." And Tommy Lee Jones, like most of the dialogue in this movie is just like written on the day, written on like right before they were starting to film, or just ad-libbed as he said action, you know. And I think that's what's indicative about Tommy Lee Jones's performance in this, is that he took a lot of liberties of this character himself, and even by changing that line, I didn't kill my wife, to I don't care, from this isn't my problem. The changing of that line is honestly genius and speaks way more to Gerard as a character to me. Jones's awareness to know the original line is not what Gerard would say as a character is probably one of the reasons why he got the Oscar.
Well,
because it feels like a Gerard thing to say, because he's more focused on the job.
Yeah,
like he doesn't care what Harrison Ford has done or not done. He's just gonna get his man.
They told me to get you, I'm getting you.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't care what you did or didn't do.
He literally doesn't care.
I'm getting you, you know, and I feel like that isn't my problem. It's just more of a lesser line. Whereas I don't care.
I don't care.
It really just feels like, you know, like he doesn't.
That is not my problem.
That's not my problem. It doesn't ring. You know, like this
especially where they're standing. They're in this instant. Like, was he actually standing at the edge of that dam?
I don't know.
It sure as shit fucking looked like it.
It looked really, really real. This is the most iconic scene to me. It absolutely is. There's a reason why Tommy Lee Jones took these liberties. Harrison Ford did too. Yeah. Like there was a lot of leniency in doing this and allowing them to be their characters, you know. And but the dam scene is what I always go back to. Yeah. Whenever somebody says The Fugitive, I automatically just think that.
I automatically picture the world's worst dummy going over the.
That's also true.
It's the one thing where you're like, ah. But if that proves anything, it almost proves the point of this movie that everybody's like, ain't nobody surviving that fucking fall. Because they couldn't even get a stuntman to do it.
Yeah, no
you know, like not a chance in the world is he surviving this fall. Yeah, which is maybe the only detriment too of the movie, but it also proves that why everyone's like, why are we searching for him?
So it may be a kind of interest within Harrison Ford's character as Kimball to like that's his decision to I have the chance to find the killer of my life. Or I'm gonna die.
Or die.
Like that's his kind of dilemma.
Would you do it?
That's the only choice I got. You know, I'm either
not going to prison.
He's going back for a death sentence. Yeah. Like, and that's the way I kept thinking about this. Is he was being transported to his death sentence
to get killed.
That's what I imagined. Yeah. So that means that immediately once he's done here, if he goes with Gerard,
they're gonna
he's
kill him.
going to a death sentence.
He's dead. So might as well have one last adrenaline rush.
Yeah.
Jump off this thing, and if you
survive,
have a little fun.
You know, see if you can get yourself like a hot dog. You know,
he likes the movie.
Your last Portillo.
He likes the movie Point Break. So
you gotta get that Italian beef.
Live for the adrenaline rush, bro.
Live for the adrenaline. That's I'm a doctor by trade, but a skydiver for life.
Come on now,
adrenaline junkie.
Yeah, that's Richard for you. Yep.
If I know Richard.
You'll never catch him. All right, so scene 3. U.S. Marshals find and kill another escaped convict from the derailment. Kimball returns to Chicago to find the true killer and assumes the identity of a janitor to infiltrate the prosthetic department at Cook County Hospital. While at the hospital, he changes the medical instructions for a misdiagnosed trauma patient, which blows Kimball's cover. He flees and returns to his newly rented apartment.
Why the hell do these guys dress up as repairmen and plumbers just to kick down that fucking door for no?
I never thought about that.
Like they didn't need to.
I know. I was
go
like,
undercover.
Fuck yeah, he's the drunk one. Cool.
Like speaking of Point Break, they didn't go like undercover to like raid that house. No, they just kicked down the fucking door.
The only one was Gary Busey, just like basically get a pulse check of the house.
All he did was just put on a Hawaiian shirt or something like that. Just
Scooby. You seen a little dog around here?
I never fucking thought about that, dude.
Like, oh yeah, let's dress him up as homeless because I'm sure everyone's peeking out their windows right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Like yeah, that'll be good. And then there's something very funny, very Mel Brooks about them pulling a U.S. Marshals sign out of the jackets.
Yes,
that is
their special jackets.
Those
to be
were
like, up or down. What do you want?
Custom made, tailored, fake.
Yeah,
homeless people uniforms that they had.
Oh, what they so U.S. Marshals walk into costumes and makeup. Yeah, that's what they do. Mm-hmm. What are you going as? Homeless. All right, here's your jacket. Make sure here's your lollipop shoot for your U.S. Marshal sign.
You should go as a plumber. Bring this pipe with you because you mean business,
right?
You know.
Oh, what are you delivering? I have no idea. Well, here's a box, but there's a shotgun in it. That's what he had.
Are we good?
Sounds good.
This
is an intense scene, though.
It is, and I still, for as many times as I've seen this, it's been a long time. It's been maybe 20 years since I've watched this movie. I still get thrown for a loop here thinking they're going to catch Kimball. Because they make it purposely sound like we got our man, we're going. But no, it's the other fugitive that, by the way, is on the loose that nobody seems to care about until they figure this out. But my God, no way in hell does a cop take that shot that he took in this movie.
I don't think so. I don't know, man.
I've seen some videos.
He doesn't even look. He just like takes his gun around the corner and just goes.
He gets one. It's like he gets one good look and he takes the shot. And
I mean, we are proving in this movie that Tommy Lee Jones is a fucking crack shot.
He means business, and it really solidifies his character. And he ad-libbed that as well. Like that line is just like, come on, it's purely his character. I feel like he doesn't bargain with this guy, and I feel like you shouldn't.
No,
you can't, honestly, because he's got a gun to him. But you also feel conflicted about it because you don't know what this guy has done. But he's also like, we can talk about this. We can talk about this with a gun to your partner's head. You know,
I'll just tell you what I want. I want to get out of here. I want out of here.
You can't. You know, it's such a conflicting thing. But it's such a like kind of a character moment for for Gerard in this for me. I was like, I totally get you now. Like I totally get he will kill Harrison Ford's character.
Yes,
if he needs to.
My God, laugh out loud line of the movie is that girl is screaming. He goes, "Shut up." And she shuts up.
Amazing.
Like, tell me that was ad lib, please. Like,
yeah, probably.
Because and actually, it's like, it's a really dick move. Like her man just got gunned down in front of her when they were just having like a nice morning cuddle session. All of a sudden, now he's dead. Like, yeah, you're gonna scream, but also like, shut up.
There's definitely a B-roll movie about this guy and how baby had just got out of prison and we're going down. We got the money back. We're going to Florida. We'll wake up tomorrow. We're going to leave. We're going to get the car, pack it up, make sure your bags are ready to go, and we're going. And then Tommy Lee Jones busts through, dressed as a homeless man. That's the end of his B-roll movie. This is something that's
tough ending for the Copeland, I think is his name.
That's the sad ending to his movie.
Yep. But man, if you think about Tommy Lee Jones and where he was at in his career, like he had done a lot, but this was truly his breakout. I mean, because didn't he win Best Supporting Actor?
Yeah.
Think about what happened after this. He wins this, and this was definitely my first time ever seeing Tommy Lee Jones. I didn't know
probably
who he was.
Me too.
But then he's Men in Black, Batman Forever, Natural Born Killers, U.S. Marshals, which wasn't very good, but it's a leading role.
Yeah.
No Country for Old Men. Like he's like flying into these roles now just because of what he did in this movie, and I think he's the best actor in this movie.
Oh, 100%.
Batman and
hands
Robin.
down.
Yep.
Batman Forever.
Batman Forever. Sorry, yeah.
I'm not saying it was a great role, but I mean he was in it.
Oh, but it was also stardom.
Yes, that is a
star power role.
Star power. So they can say Tommy Lee Jones is in this movie.
Exactly.
Yeah, that is a big deal.
100%.
Man, and then even Julianne Moore and Jane Lynch.
Yeah, it's crazy to see that.
Isn't it weird because they were basically nobodies?
Yeah, and based off her performance in this, Julianne Moore or Steven Spielberg saw her in this and wanted to cast her for Jurassic, the second one, Lost World. Yeah.
Oh shit. Well, because Julianne Moore was the doctor at the hospital where he saves this kid. Then
mm-hmm.
Right.
Joel. Yeah, and like that's weird to me too because she. Like her staff and herself were incompetent here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay. Two things here. I'm gonna get to this.
Please.
Yes, I'm gonna get to this. Well, number one, Julianne Moore was actually supposed to be probably a bigger role in this because she was supposed to have some love interest, like kind of back and forth with Kimball, while he's mourning.
Well,
the
okay,
death
so
of his
then maybe
wife
that plays to your timeline. Maybe a year did go by.
See. Like there's something, and that's exactly right.
Okay,
Maybe that enough time has passed for that to happen, right?
Okay.
Or something for him to feel vulnerable enough.
Okay.
Who knows? She was supposed to have more time on screen for this. She was still billed pretty high on this cast.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think the same was said for like as far as screen time for Jane Lynch, but she was supposed to, they also played with that idea for her as well. Maybe a little bit of romantic chemistry.
It wouldn't have worked.
No. And I agree. And I'm glad they did it the way they did. That's a professional relationship, right?
Mm-hmm.
That they should have.
And a lot of times they're trying to throw love, romantic into like don't fucking do it. We don't need it.
He's trying to solve the murder of his wife that was just killed.
He's gotten so far now. He's like, you know what? Actually, I don't care anymore because I'm in love.
Yeah.
Look at these liver samples. They're devouring each other.
Oh my god!
Look into the microscope.
My eyes were there.
Those are my tits.
Right. Gets right up close to where she's like, oh. But Julianne Moore then says, it's like, oh, well, that's crazy. Yeah, you can definitely go home. How's the kid doing? Saved his life. It's like, Well, no, what the fuck were you doing?
Yeah, exactly.
What were you doing?
No, this kid was
We were
getting-
going to kill him.
That's an interesting way to literally admit your incompetence as healthcare provider, like as this person.
I feel bad for Joel, man, because he was getting tossed around by these guys, and he was getting asked at every point, "How you feeling?" And his only answer is, "My chest hurts."
His nickname's-
And for the fucking fifth time, my chest hurts.
Here's some albuterol.
Get me to where I need to be.
What's your name, kid? Oh, fucking might as well be Buck because they keep passing me around. I don't know.
What the fuck?
Like, what's going on?
But I love that this is the humanity of Kimball. Like the fact that he wants to take the time to save this kid's life. If this whole scenario had happened to me, fuck everyone. You can all die. I don't even care if you're a kid. I don't care if you're a doctor. You're dead to me. I'm out.
Yeah.
Where were you when I was going to die?
No kidding.
So that's the humanity of him. And Harrison Ford plays that so well, too. Even think about...
He does.
I was thinking about Harrison Ford's career at this point. We had 80s megastar Harrison Ford, all the Star Wars, all the Indiana Jones stuff. That is megastar 80s Harrison Ford. But then you get to the 90s and he almost does like a complete reversal. This is like
Witness,
action.
Fugitive, yeah.
It's
Air
Clear
Force
and Present
One.
Danger, Air Force One, Patriot Games, 6 Days, 7 Nights. This is like weird adult action star Harrison Ford. And it's just weird. Just a difference of a decade. All of our parents that watched this knew of Star Wars, Indiana Jones, Harrison Ford.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they wanted to watch this movie. Be like, what's up, dude?
It's like less fantasy, more fiction, if you will, like or
Yeah.
just like fiction, nonfiction stories of this idea of, like you say, more adult vibes, not Indiana Jones and not Star Wars.
Yeah.
I mean, he was the selling point for this movie.
God,
you know,
yeah.
like he's the reason they had a 3-month turnaround for this is because he didn't have enough time to promote it after that 3-month window. So they had to have him like do all the promotion circuit in those 3 months to build up to the release of this. And I mean, star power. That's what it is.
Let's say they had cast an unknown, great, like fucking fantastic, great actor nowadays, but was unknown at the time instead of Harrison Ford. This is not the number 3 movie in the.
No.
I mean, because people went to the theater for Harrison Ford and then got a great movie and told them.
And then go back again. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Can we
Like Roger.
Oh,
I was just gonna say, like this movie glosses over the fact that there is some sort of like either school bus roll or school invader situation going on. There's like 19 kids coming into this hospital.
Is there?
That's like there are a bunch of kids like coming in and they've all got stuff in them, stuck in them, and like
Ugh.
they're all like the majority of the people in that scene where he saves that one kid's life. There's like they're all kids like rolling into this ER.
They glossed over that.
Another bus crash going on
There's
somewhere?
just bus crashes. They
Another
need
bus train crash.
They need to get their tires changed.
Chicago's infrastructure is just...
It's
Chicago.
it's
Well,
just
I'll
not
tell you,
okay.
it's off the rails.
That's it for us, guys.
Okay.
That infrastructure is really derailing.
Boy, things are starting to look pretty green in this movie coming up for the next scene. Guys, please talk.
Okay, so scene 4.
Oh my God.
Scene 4. Gerard spots him at Chicago City Hall after an intense chase. Kimball disappears.
My chest hurts.
What's wrong with you, Joel?
What's the matter with you, Shaun? My chest hurts. After an intense chase, Kimball disappears into a St. Patrick's Day parade. Later, he breaks into the home of another suspect on his list, Frederick Sykes, and discovers a photo that confirms Sykes is the killer. Kimball alerts Gerard to Sykes, and the cops question him.
All right. I'm going to say this because this is one of the top pieces of movie factoids that I hold near and dear. Is about this scene in the St. Patrick's Day parade.
Mm-hmm.
I think this goes back to allowing and the direction of letting natural things dictate how your scenes play out. And they basically just got some permission. This is not staged. They've just put this together and they said, and it wasn't even in the script, But they needed a way to lose him, I guess, like basically lose track of him again. And the St. Patrick's Day parade is going on in Chicago, which is like one of the largest parades, I don't know, ever. And they get the permission enough for Harrison Ford to walk into and Tommy Lee Jones to walk into the parade and get lost, basically. That's what they did. They gave the permission. This was not a bunch of extras. These weren't paid people or anything like that. They allowed them to walk in, and they had camera people following each person. And that's what they did. Completely natural during the actual parade.
2 steady cams following each actor.
Yeah.
And
it works.
Like Harrison Ford was even like, my character is supposed to try and be incognito, so I was doing that.
Yeah.
And so it took a while for someone to even notice
people standing
Harrison Ford.
And it was improv,
right
like grabbing someone's hat and stuff like that. I guess they didn't tell him to do that. They said, just try to blend in.
He grabbed a hat from a trash can or something. Yeah. He put it on. He took off his jacket, and it took like several minutes before someone walking right next to him in the parade was like, "Are you Harrison Ford? Like, what are you doing here?" No, that's not me. Like what? No, I just thought that was. I think that's absolutely fascinating. Yeah. And the permissions to do that, I don't know that you could get that done now today.
I don't know, man.
Probably not.
The mayor of Chicago was like, "Yeah, go ahead."
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Fuck with our parade. A
sure.
little bit.
Why not?
I love before that scene. I like how it's always talking. It's always showing how smart Kimball is.
Mm-hmm.
This still makes me go, I would have never thought about that. When he's trying to get out of the hospital and he goes, "Oh, officer, there's a man in a blue coat waving a gun." Like fucking genius, because he's running holding a gun. They're going to be like, "We got to stop you." You know, I've always thought that was just such a cool move.
Yeah.
And a thinking on your feet, just be like,
at every turn, man, it's so believable. Yep. Every time he gets away, I believe it. And it's not like, oh, that was far-fetched. Oh, he dragged an old lady in front of him to like evade capture. Right. It's like, no, none of that like weird bullshit is ever going on in this movie. It's always something that's really smart. And like even his friend, what's his goddamn name in the movie?
Dr. Nichols.
Nichols. Yeah. He's like, "You're never gonna catch him," and like as an audience member, I'm like, I feel that because he's, like at every turn, he's like, and I can feel the frustration of Gerard too, because it's just like, God damn, every goddamn turn, I hate that motherfucker was right, that he keeps telling me I'm never gonna catch him. You know,
there's something to be said about the fact that people don't recognize you. You're like when you go through a situation like this, or like, oh gosh, I better lay low, do that sort of thing. This is a person who thinks that literally everybody, who could very well think everyone is out to find him and look for him, but half of the police force doesn't even know what he looks like.
Yeah.
That's the realization, right? Like half the people who are looking for him don't know what he looks like. Why would a common person like a regular person recognize him or know who he is, up to whatever point that they actually release it. But yeah, and that has to be frustrating for Gerard. Like, you're not going to find him. He's too smart.
The only unbelievable thing to me is we know how good Gerard is at shooting. Like he with 1 inch to spare, he kills Copeland.
He's very trigger happy,
dude.
As well.
Then he like bam, bam, one in the heart, one in the brain. When that glass is there.
Yeah.
Why didn't he shoot him in the foot?
I don't know. He's shooting to kill, man. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah, but at that point, couldn't he just be like, foot, bam, 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 and like just put a bullet through his foot?
And to get him, right?
Yeah, basically be like, you can't go anywhere anymore.
Why no, he's shooting to kill.
Why don't you just keep walking up to the door while you're shooting?
Just go, hey, security guard that's standing over there, this door right now needs to open because we're trying to get this guy.
Hey, don't go through that open metal detector. That was a real barrier for me.
I can't.
Because
it'll go off.
I
got a gun on me.
No, I can't walk any further or closer to him.
Yeah.
Why didn't he just toss him? Why didn't he just toss him the gun under the screen and say, "Hey, shoot yourself for me, will you?"
Well,
why didn't he do that?
What are you talking about? All right. Well, now you're just being a dick.
Okay. Now you're just being a total asshole. What do you guys think about Frederick Sykes when we finally meet him?
So I've been waiting to maybe say this for a minute here.
Please.
There's a group of people that put this all together, as we find out later on, right? I understand this character's background. Whose bright idea was it to say, Well, somebody's got to go kill her.
Sykes?
Freddie?
Let's send the guy with one fucking arm. What?
He's former police, though.
Oh, good. He's got one arm.
Sykes, how'd you lose that arm? Trying to go kill someone. Yeah.
How'd you lose that? In the line of duty. Okay, well, maybe we shouldn't send Sykes. I don't know. Here's the thing. He's like, hey, no. And maybe Sykes made a case. He pled his case. He's like, guys, I'm more than capable of handling this. I'm happy to do it, honestly. I think I can really take care of it. I don't know, man. I feel like if anybody kind of pegs you for having one arm, it might narrow things down. What?
Maybe we send someone else with you to lend a hand. Oh shit.
But I don't know, Sykes. You're going to be committing arm robbery.
Oh.
Wait.
Is this singular arm robbery? It's not armed.
I love it. I wrote that joke down too.
Did you really?
One-armed robbery? Wait, he only did it one time?
No, you don't understand.
Okay, I got it. He did one arm robbery.
Single arm robbery.
He did 10 of them, but he has one arm. Oh, that's terrible.
You gotta hand it to this guy.
Oh, you sure do. He's really capable.
He's pretty handy.
I can fix anything.
Oh, my God.
Jesus.
You know we had to do it.
No,
We had to. We were going there.
It's just like, why is that? And they're like genius scheming, like it's going to be perfect. I've got this all laid out, guys. All we need is a trigger man. It's like, well, who's going to pull the trigger? Well, I've got a hand in this.
What if hold on though. What happens if he drops the gun and the bullets fall out and he has to put the bullets back in the gun?
Can he load the gun? Well, let's give him a revolver. The trickiest fucking thing. Was this a joke? Was this a Rocco scenario again of like
me
6 bullets? Like, yeah, you see, he's like, you couldn't have. God, it's easier to put a clip in with your mouth than
he
it is a
made
bullet.
a case for himself to like actually kill somebody. He's like, no, I think we're gonna get Daniels to do it. I think we'll get Daniels.
Daniels is good shit.
Like, guys, I know that I can do this. All right, he's like, fucking arm falls off, becomes detached.
I'll tell you what though, I do like. I want to hate Sykes, but I also like kind of don't hate him. Like, I feel like he's really good in this interrogation when the cops are there.
Sorry,
I'm just trying to move this along here, guys.
I know.
I like how he does kind of take control. He's not scared at all of their interrogation, even though he knows like, holy shit.
Yeah.
But like, I'm wondering, can he have like, I want to know the law here. Can he actually have them go into his house without him inviting them in there?
Well,
there was a phone call from that house. So is that enough to warrant something? Like if a fugitive goes,
Kimball, I think
if a fugitive goes into my house right now and I'm not there, and they find out he makes a phone call from there, can they automatically go inside my house?
I think so, because
there was also technically a crime.
Yeah, technically considered armed and dangerous.
Okay.
Yeah.
Armed and dangerous.
He's armed and dangerous.
Consider him armed and dangerous.
He wasn't until he found the arm in the fucking drawer.
Okay, so if you really want to get back at this guy, even like just like in a petty way, take that fucking arm. That dude gets home and he's like, "Where's my fucking arm at?"
No. Just bend the claw enough so it doesn't make proper contact.
Make a cut on the wire.
So instead of it being like this, it ends up just being like this. Like when he calls it, he's like, "God dang!
I can't pick up my remote.
He can't pick up the bullets." He can't load the toilet paper.
I don't even want to finish the movie.
He didn't even give a chance. Oh my God.
My head hurts.
We took away all his capabilities.
I want him to be
He's
like
not so handy anymore.
I want him to be like the bad guy at Enter the Dragon, where he has multiple arms for multiple uses.
Exactly.
Oh Jesus!
He's just a Kimball. Kimball's just driving away, just like
fucking got him, dude.
I can't breathe. Okay. Guys, we got to finish this. Oh, my God.
Oh, man.
This is why you listen. Listen, I say this every time. A lot of podcasts have probably talked about The Fugitive, but none went where we just went, you guys.
But you wanted us to, and we did it.
Okay, let's finish this movie. Kimball begins to acquire evidence about the drug cover-up that got him framed. He also figures out that Dr. Nichols was involved. Kimball is attacked by Sykes, but he's able to escape. Arriving at a conference that Dr. Nichols is speaking at, Kimball publicly confronts him. A fight breaks out, resulting in Nichols is arrested. Gerard believes Kimball is innocent.
My head hurts.
My head hurts really bad, dude.
So, also, one-arm guy creeps.
You're bringing him back? God damn it. Sykes.
Sykes.
It's funny enough. That's what he said when he bent the psych. We'll let it go.
AJ, let it go.
He goes for a handshake. He's like, psych.
I can't. If you go any further, I can't.
That's what name
My
him.
head
Sykes.
hurts. Oh, my God.
He looks like Boris Karloff.
Yes, he does.
It looks like Frankenstein's monster. That's a note that I had, and that's all I have to say about that.
He definitely does. He looks like Jaws from
James Bond.
100%. Yeah, it's definitely his like shorter brother. Yeah, and there's nothing else that's gonna be funny from here on out, guys. So if you're looking for any more laughs, it's not gonna happen.
Well, I guess we'll just talk about the movie.
I will tell you that the one thing that bothers me here is Sykes is the actual killer of his wife.
Yes.
And
Thank you.
and Kimball just literally he's like I just need to uncapacitate you so that I can move on to the real people.
That's
Yeah.
right.
No, I would do terrible fucking things to Sykes.
Yeah.
I'd
I
make
would
sure-
not chain him up for the cops to find him later.
I'd make sure he fell between like the train and the ramp.
Yes.
That's what I would do to that guy.
It is
Yes.
like the,
Right? I mean-
maybe the only trope
Oops,
that this
looks like an accident. Oh.
maybe the only trope that
Oh.
this movie falls into is that sort of aspect where there's
There's
the guy that with the master plan and then the guy that actually
Yes.
does it, and they usually don't ever get this the treatment that they deserve. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
right.
You don't like they're not actually as important as the guy who masterminded it all. You know what I'm saying? I see that a lot in movies.
You're still
going
to be mad at Nichols. I get it.
Yeah.
He was your friend. He fucked this whole thing up. But that man killed your wife.
Correct. Like that's the guy who did it.
Did you catch as many times as I've watched this movie as a kid? I never once figured out how this actually happened. Did you catch how Dr. Nichols and Sykes made this happen?
It took me a long time.
So what I understand.
pharmaceutical thing.
Yeah. What? No. Yeah.
Well,
I get that. I meant how they actually were trying to kill him and his wife. How that actually happened. Because remember, they're there was no forced entry and the alarm was off. From what I gather, at the beginning of the movie, Nichols gives his car keys back to Kimball.
Yes.
And says, "Hey, thanks for the loaner." So, and
fill
then
it
they
with
also
gas,
talk.
you know.
Yeah, they also talk about how Kimball made a phone call to Sykes at 7:30 p.m. from inside
his
the
car
house.
phone.
So what I'm thinking is that Nichols went over to the house, let Sykes in, and then shut the door and locked Sykes. Sykes was in the house.
He's in the closet.
Waiting. So he did not have to break in.
Right.
And I never once understood what was happening there as a kid.
No, because
Right?
it's all very subtle.
Yeah.
It's all very subtle. It's very subtle dialogue. It's not poignant dialogue like that you would normally want it to be. So that way, and I don't know if that was again a conscious choice or not. But it tells the audience, but it doesn't help the audience.
Yeah.
So to
You
speak.
kind of have to think about it.
Yeah,
And it's
which I like.
It's
I
the,
do too.
It's the final thing of him saying, "Well, yeah, it was weird. I ran the phone records, but the dead giveaway is, but there was one made from Kimball actually called Sykes,
Yeah.
from his car." Oh,
Yeah, that's weird.
okay. So that basically means that Nichols was doing the buddy phone call. He's like, "Hey, I'm calling you. Make sure you're ready to go. I don't want to be sitting next to your door, waiting outside for 7 minutes."
7:30 means 7:30.
7:30 means 7:30. I'm gonna be there outside. Okay, let the dog out now.
Yes.
That's what you got to
Yeah.
do.
And then they get in this big fight on the rooftop, and it's sort of that bad guy saves the cop from the real bad guy cliche.
Gone in 60 seconds.
Dude, 1,000,000 per second. Like, we just did that. Like, that's kind of a trope in movies sometimes where, like, I saved your life, now what? You know, like,
It ends up and wraps up pretty easily and pretty, I guess, predictively in a way. But it's the only way that it really could have.
It should.
Honestly.
I always wanted to wrap up a little tighter, right? And then maybe it's
you
it's
don't
a
feel like
positive.
this. Well, actually, wait. How do you don't? So you wanted more out of this ending,
He's not unconvicted at this point.
dude? He's literally going back to jail for his death sentence, right? Like, that does not automatically get overturned.
He's
true.
He's not. What do they call that? Like, he's not. He hasn't been cleared of all these
No,
charges. Or
they will have to retrial.
Yeah,
Correct.
at the least, there's a retrial for
With
sure.
and
He's
like
still,
let's say
convicted.
evidence got fucked up or something like that, or they can't, or he hires that stupid shitty attorney he did. What if they can't actually prove this? Like, we know this is the truth, and Tommy Lee Jones' character's like, yeah, I believe you, but Tommy Lee Jones is not a detective, and he will not be involved in this. He's just like, hey, I got my man.
He got his man. He's probably taking him.
He's
to get
taking his man
executed.
directly to
Yeah.
the fucking gas chamber.
Wow.
Like, and that never registered with me as a kid. I'm like, oh, he undid the cuffs. So he's probably going to take
He
him
just
to
knows
McDonald's
knows
or
he's
something.
not dangerous at that point.
Yes.
But he's going to go
The
kill him.
protocol is you need to go back to jail.
Yeah.
And I guess it's the only reason why he might have left both of those guys alive at this point.
Okay.
You know, if he kills them, if he
True.
kills them, then he does become a murderer while being a convicted murderer, right?
Yeah.
So he did make
Hey,
the right
good
call.
news, we've acquitted you of the killing of your wife, but Sykes.
But wait,
there's more.
there's more.
And he only had one arm.
And by the way, he was handicapped. This ain't gonna go in your favor there,
It's
Doc.
pretty fucked up. They don't take kindly to your kind in prison.
Well, and I do want to say, because you've probably already turned the episode off at this point, but we are not making fun of disabilities. We're making fun of a murderer.
Yeah.
That just so happens to have one arm.
Just so
okay?
happened he did.
If that was a normal guy, if Kimball had one arm, we would not make those same jokes.
Yeah.
Right.
Look.
Totally.
Exactly. No. Hey, you're right. If we
We're
were
not
going
making fun of
to,
disabilities.
no. We just don't think he should have
I
signed
have a
up
small
for the
penis
for-
disability, and I don't make fun of that. Okay?
Exactly. See, you don't, you gotta let it go, right? You don't say.
Strike that.
I'm just saying that it's the fact that he's the one who obviously volunteered for for this duty. If he would have signed up for arm wrestling, it would have been a different thing.
We have
Look, guys,
we
over-
have
over the
dissected
top,
the movie with
over
a
the top.
modern eye. Scene by scene, we gave you more laughs than you ever would have expected listening to a review of The Fugitive, especially from jokeless, comedyless Harrison Ford. We got to give it a modern day rating. AJ, what is your modern day rating of this movie?
Well, let me tell you one thing at least. No, I do really think it's a great movie. I do think it's a great movie. If I was going to give like 5 things to talk about, shut up,
You're trying.
AJ.
You're
I'm just
trying.
reaching at this point.
Give us your rating and move on.
It's not 5. I'm not going to 5.1. No. I really enjoy the movie. I think it's actually really fun. I think it's a little long, and I do think I think that there's a great pace to it, but there are parts that I was just sitting there thinking like, man, I am kind of looking for this to wrap up a little bit more. I just think my biggest issue is the pacing of it. I think it just gets drawn out at points. It's like over 2 hours. So other than that, though, I fully endorse like the idea of all the nominations this got, Tommy Lee winning, like all those things. I really do. I think his performance is phenomenal in this. I think it's written very well, and I think it's directed amazingly. Because you don't get a movie, you don't get a movie that has so much wonderful improv elements to it without that. So. Is it my favorite thing? No, I don't think it is. But I do really enjoy the movie, and I think it deserves all the credit that it gets. So I am going to give this objectively technically it needs to be better than Starship Troopers, guys. So I need to give it an 8.3.
8.3.
Wow.
Shaun, what about you, man?
Yeah, I think that this movie is incredibly made, incredibly acted, especially by Tommy Lee Jones and Harrison Ford, and Joey Pants. Joey Pants is good. We don't talk about him much.
Hair Joey Pants.
Yeah. Kind of cool.
Goonies Joey Pants.
Yeah.
I think that the as a movie, as like a kind of like a thriller mystery kind of thing, the movie like puts a map into your head, and then as the movie kind of goes on for the 2-hour duration, it gives you these pinpoints on which to kind of fall into and like kind of make your own way into. Like it doesn't spoon feed you is kind of what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But there's those movies out there that we research, and I find that the production and the making of it is way more fascinating than the movie itself. And this is unfortunately one of those movies. I think if this movie had a little bit more meat to it, had a little bit more like kind of edge to it, it's a very, like I said, I still think it's more of like a dad or a mom movie to me. Whereas I just think that this, if it did have like a little bit more meat and a little more edge, maybe a little bit more violence or something, to kind of reel me in. That's just taste wise.
Yeah.
I think I'd like it a little bit better. So I'm going to give this a 7.5.
Well, Shaun, I am a dad now, so this movie was right up my freaking alley. I still love this movie. I did not feel like it was too long. I felt like it was awesome. Like I looked at it ahead of time, going, "Oh, that's gonna be a long movie," but it flew by like it used to as a kid. I'm scared to death of the idea of being wrongfully accused of something, and I'm also scared to death of the fact that this seems so far fetched to me back in the day of like, oh, the drug companies lied about this to make. This is real life. This happens probably every fucking day. People are probably getting canceled or losing jobs or getting killed just to make billions of dollars on medicine that we don't need for something. Like this is like a scary fucking movie in a way. And I love it. Honestly, I'm an 8.3 with you as well. Executive producer David Gould said, even after all these years, I feel this movie holds up better than most, even though during the opening title sequence, I found myself waiting for the Law and Order guitar riff to kick in at any moment. Although the story is suspenseful and the visuals are striking, I'm left with questions. Why does nobody want to do their job except Tommy Lee? How is Harrison Ford so good in this, even though he has 10 lines? Is it really that easy to evade the police while constantly walking around with them? Even with all this, the movie's fantastic, and no matter the time of year or time of day, I'm ready to go on this ride to find the one-armed man. Also, now when my 6-year-old is fighting bedtime, I will softly but firmly say, I don't bargain. My modern-day rating is a 7.36. That takes us to a 7.87 for this movie for a modern-day rating. Guys, that's going to get pretty high on the list here. 7.87 is number 33 on our list. It is just below The Matrix, actually, just below The Matrix, just above American Psycho is where we feel this movie is.
Okay.
Can you live with that?
I like it. Yeah.
It's a great movie.
I'll watch any of those movies any day.
Yeah. Well, we hope you enjoyed the episode. Thanks for being here. Tune in next week. We got Airborne. It's going to be a fun thing. And then we're bringing Harrison back for Raiders of the Lost Ark, voted on by our Patreon members.
Hell yeah.
So that's going to be a lot of fun. Also, if you're new to the podcast, go back this time last year. I've never seen Explorers.
Oh, man.
It's a fun episode. I thought that was a great time. In fact, I had never seen it.
I had never seen it.
Us two had never seen it, and AJ was the one that brought that. I thought that was a fun one.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a great movie up until a certain point.
Thought we were spot on with it.
Yeah.
Yep. And don't forget, we have a voicemail. Call us at 319-804-9596. Leave us some feedback like today's caller.
Hey, you guys. This is Michael. I'm a truck driver. You guys keep me entertained all the time. Man, and I just really love to listen to you guys, even though there are some things I don't agree with, but I do agree with a lot. And I will agree that Super Mario Brothers movie is almost the worst movie ever made. I think something that's worse than that you guys might look into doing would be Howard the Duck. Other than that, man, you guys keep up the good work. I love Cedar Ridge whiskey. Just got my first bottle the other day, and it's very tasty. Guys, keep going. And well, damn dang it, to both all three of y'all.
Damn dang it to you,
Yeah,
buddy.
dude.
Hell yeah.
I know we got some truck driver listeners out there, and that just warms my heart.
Yeah, I feel
Someday I want to be at like a gas station, and I want to like say something to the gas attendant. And I want somebody to be like, Mike from the Confused Breakfast.
Hey, maybe we'll see each other on I-80 sometime.
Shit, Sean's
I'm on there all
a
the time.
fucking truck driver
Yeah,
like you, man.
He's on I-80 all the time.
Yeah, dude. I hate it.
Candy cane.
Cane.
I'll take us out, AJ.
Hey, man, you know what? I appreciate it. We love that you called in. And, yeah, you know what? You might not agree with us on some things. You agree with us on other things. It's okay. We're not finite in anything, right? But we really do appreciate everybody, listening to the show, hanging out with us here. And we really would appreciate it if you did leave us a review, 5 stars anywhere you're listening. Write us a review if you can on that platform. Please check us out on the YouTube.
Just give us a check.
Get face to face with us on the YouTube and our social media. Just search for Confused Breakfast, guys.
Go to confusedbreakfast.com and get some of our merch. You can get some shirts, you can get some hoodies, you can get some koozies. You can get your own paraplegic arms. You can get you got to hand it to them, really. Go to confusedbreakfast.com as well to see our ratings of every movie we've ever done individually and show-wise. Thank you very much. Goodbye.
And now that we're going to be canceled, we're going to need that Patreon money more than ever. So please go to patreon.com/confusedbreakfast. Directly support this show. Get tons of perks. Support our sponsors. That is all we could ever ask for you. We are produced by Upload Media Group in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Craig is good. He's giving us the look like he doesn't want to do this anymore. And so this might be his last time, but he is here. And we are part of the Cloud 10 iHeart Podcast Network. Check him out at cloud10.fm, uploadmediagroup.com. I love you all. Goodbye.
I love you.
Love you.
I didn't kill my wife. Hey, all right.